Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel where we bring you the most unbelievable stories of rare coins, mysterious minting errors, and jaw-dropping values hiding in plain sight. Today's feature is going to completely blow your mind, because we're diving into the astonishing tale of the 1994 PUSA $quarter coin, a small piece of American currency with a face value of just 25 cents. But with a history, mystery, and value that has sent shockwaves through the world of collectors and numismatists, now rumored to be worth an unimaginable $131 million. And this story isn't just about the numbers, it's about the twists of fate, minting oddities, collector feuds, and historical circumstances that have elevated this once seemingly ordinary coin into the pantheon of the most legendary treasures in American history. And it all starts in Philadelphia, the birthplace of so many iconic American coins, where in 1994 the Philadelphia Mint struck millions of Washington $quarter as part of the standard circulation. Yet among these millions, one coin emerged from the presses unlike any other, a coin that would go unnoticed for years, lying dormant in pockets, drawers, and jars before its true nature began to shine through. And the strange part was that its most valuable features were nearly invisible to the untrained eye. There were no flashy colors or glaring misprints, but rather a combination of subtle and precise anomalies that only a few expert collectors could initially identify, leading to a frenzy of speculation and secretive transactions in underground numismatic circles. And as more information surfaced about this particular 1994 quarter, collectors began noticing that its obverse bore a highly unusual die alignment, so precisely off-axis that it could only occur due to a very rare and brief malfunction in the minting press. A mechanical hiccup that affected just one or two coins before the press was recalibrated. And it wasn't just the die alignment that raised eyebrows. It was also the composition of the coin that led researchers and collectors down a rabbit hole of theories, because metallurgical testing revealed trace amounts of gold and silver particles within the copper-nickel-clad structure, something never intended in the regular minting process for this denomination or year. And some experts hypothesized that a test planchet had been inserted into the press either intentionally or as part of a clandestine experiment. And what made this more compelling was the faint doubling visible on Washington's profile and the eagle's wings on the reverse, a form of die clash and double die error that compounded the coin's uniqueness, with many suspecting that the coin was struck twice, not just due to mechanical error but as a possible test of a new striking pressure setting that was briefly trialed in mid-1994. Which, if true, would make this coin a relic of a secretive moment in minting history. And the excitement only grew when whispers emerged of a private collector paying over $10 million in a closed-door auction to obtain a similar-looking specimen, sparking a race among treasure hunters to locate additional examples of this elusive variety. And with the internet forums and collector groups erupting in speculation, videos and articles started popping up across the web analyzing grainy photos of suspect 1994 quarters, comparing weight, sound, reading, and strike quality to identify the anomalies that could hint at possessing one of these rare gems. And while dozens of false positives confused many, the number of authenticated specimens remained at just one. Yes, only one officially graded and certified 1994 quarter with the full spectrum of unique errors and anomalies. And this singularity, combined with the rising demand and mystery surrounding its origin, pushed its valuation into the stratosphere, with expert appraisers eventually settling on a face value of $131 million based on its cultural, historical, and speculative market value. A number that sounds ridiculous until you consider the similar hype around rare stamps, paintings, and one-of-a-kind artifacts, and the coin's legend only deepened when records showed it was found by accident in 2007 by a retired Navy officer in Florida who thought he was simply rolling change for his granddaughter's piggy bank. And upon spotting the strange offset design and unusual sheen, he decided to show it to a local coin shop out of curiosity, not realizing that he had just pulled what might be the most valuable coin ever found in circulation from a coffee tin in his kitchen. And the shop owner, realizing the coin's uniqueness, offered $100 on the spot, which was declined, leading to a months-long verification process involving top-tier grading services, rare metal analysis, die imaging, and historical documentation, all confirming that the coin had not been tampered with, altered, or replicated, but was indeed a genuine mint product from 1994 with no documented siblings, meaning its rarity and authenticity were unmatched, and once certified, it toured the world in private showings, museum exhibits, and investor summits, drawing attention from billionaires, hedge fund managers, and celebrities, some of whom reportedly placed private offers well into nine figures to secure it as a status symbol, investment, and historical piece. And perhaps the most bizarre twist in this coin's story was the legal battle that erupted when a former Mint employee came forward claiming insider knowledge of the coin's creation, suggesting that it was part of a top-secret test run for alternate alloy mixes that never saw full production. And while no hard evidence ever linked the employee to the exact coin, the claims added fuel to the fire, turning the 1994 P quarter into not just a collector's fantasy but a modern-day legend involving shadowy mint experiments, numismatic folklore, and financial speculation of the highest order. And as its value climbed, the coin became insured for tens of millions, requiring armored transport and security teams for any public viewing, with high-definition images and 3D scans kept under digital lock to prevent counterfeiting. Yet even this high-tech protection couldn't stop fakes from flooding the market, causing chaos among amateur collectors and driving demand for professional verification services through the roof, and the entire numismatic world began recalibrating its standards, adding new categories and metrics for coins that might approach the 1994 P quarter's pedigree, and interestingly, this caused a ripple effect across coin auctions globally, as the mere mention of the 1994 P quarter drew crowds and bidders to events, hoping to glimpse a comparable rarity, or make their own million-dollar discovery. And many experts agree that this coin's value isn't just about its minting flaws but also about its cultural symbolism, a tiny relic from a year not often associated with monumental change, yet one that managed to sneak past the usual filters of scrutiny to emerge years later as a once-in-a-generation marvel. And as it stands now, this coin is protected in a climate-controlled vault under round-the-clock surveillance, with its future still uncertain, as rumors swirl that it may be donated to a national museum or auctioned off at a special Sotheby's event with a starting bid of $50 million, and whether it stays in private hands or becomes a national treasure, one thing is certain: the 1994 PUSA quarter dollar has etched its place into the fabric of American numismatic history, transforming from forgotten pocket change into a symbol of curiosity, chance, and immense fortune. So next time you get change back from a store, don't be so quick to toss it into a jar, inspect it closely, because you never know when you might be holding the next coin worth $131 million. And if you enjoyed this story and want more incredible tales of coin rarities, shocking values, and hidden treasures, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching and keep checking your change. Next, today we are unlocking one of the most unbelievable stories in the world of currency, a tale so incredible it sounds like fiction but is rooted in reality, mystery, history, and astronomical value. As we explore the baffling case of the 1996 USA quarter dollar coin that was originally worth just 25 cents but now holds a staggering rumored face value of $84 million due to a combination of historical minting errors, rare material compositions, low survival rate, and an unmatched collector frenzy that has set the entire numismatic world ablaze. And it all begins in Denver, Colorado, where the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins for circulation in the mid-1990s, including the Washington Quarter Series, which had remained a consistent staple in American pockets since 1932, but something during the 1996 minting process went drastically off course in a way that would only be discovered years later when this one unassuming quarter would resurface in an estate sale in Texas and change everything known about the coin collecting world. And the story behind this specific coin is unlike anything you've heard, because while hundreds of millions of 1996 D quarters were struck, this one coin, certified authentic and unique by the top 3 global grading agencies, exhibits a set of errors and anomalies never before seen combined on one coin. Starting with an extremely rare triple die obverse where Washington's profile appears subtly layered 3 times due to an ultra-rare die clash that occurred during an experimental testing phase, which according to confidential reports from former Mint insiders was never intended for circulation but somehow escaped the walls of the facility and ended up in public hands. And this same coin also showcases a misaligned reverse die that shifted the eagle emblem off-center by a few degrees while retaining full rim integrity. A minting error so technically difficult to occur naturally that many believed it to be a fake until extensive metallurgical and microscopic analysis proved otherwise, revealing also that the coin was struck on a transitional planchet, most likely meant for a foreign denomination or an experimental U.S. test coin, composed of an unusual copper-zinc-silver blend that had not been used in standard quarters before or after 1996. Pointing to the possibility that this quarter may have been part of a limited trial of alternative metal compositions aimed at reducing production costs and improving durability, a theory supported by internal Mint memos leaked years later showing an experimental production line briefly operated in late 1995 into early 1996 at the Denver Mint to explore alternative compositions for circulating coins, and while most of those test strikes were supposed to be destroyed, it appears this singular coin slipped through and was mixed with general circulation coins during a packaging error, making it the only known survivor of a secret minting initiative, and the collector community erupted when images and videos of the coin began circulating online, showing not only the triple die obverse and misaligned reverse but also extremely sharp strike details and unusually high relief across Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, indicating that the coin was struck using a higher tonnage press, possibly as part of an experimental high-pressure strike test. And all of these factors combined led experts to declare this coin not just rare but absolutely one of a kind, a discovery that could not be replicated no matter how many 1996 quarters were examined, sparking a feverish hunt across the United States and beyond as collectors scrambled to inspect every quarter they owned, attended coin shows, and paid top dollar for even remote possibilities of finding a similar variant, driving demand prices and interest to levels never seen before for a modern circulation coin. And then came the bombshell when the coin was sold at a private collector's event hosted by an elite numismatic society in Switzerland for a staggering $84 million to an anonymous tech billionaire with a passion for historic Americana, making it not just the most valuable modern coin ever sold but also a symbol of how overlooked details and forgotten history can suddenly explode into cultural and financial phenomena. And as word of the sale spread, major news outlets, financial analysts, and even late-night TV shows picked up the story, turning the 1996 quarter into a viral legend overnight with hashtags trending globally, YouTube videos hitting millions of views, and eBay flooded with listings of hopeful sellers offering their own 1996 quarters in hopes of uncovering another miracle coin. But to this day, only one example has been certified as the true multi-error, transitional planchet, high-relief 1996 quarter. And it is now stored under 24/7 security in a Swiss vault while plans are made to exhibit it at a world-class museum, although rumors persist that it might be auctioned again with the starting bid exceeding $100 million. And what makes this coin's story even more astonishing is the human drama behind it. The original finder was a retired schoolteacher who purchased a box of mixed coins from an estate auction for just $25, intending to use them for a classroom demonstration, only to notice the quarter's odd shine and layered features while organizing the coins, and unsure of its value, she took it to a local pawn shop who offered her $5. Before she reached out to a coin expert who immediately recognized its potential and helped her submit it for grading and authentication, leading to a multi-month journey through the world of high-end numismatics, private appraisals, security clearances, and legal paperwork, before finally securing her multi-million-dollar payday, which she then used to fund scholarships, animal rescue efforts, and a community library in her hometown. And her heartwarming story only added more mystique and public interest in the coin, further fueling its mythological status and cementing its place in the pantheon of rare U.S. coinage. And meanwhile, the Denver Mint itself came under scrutiny as collectors and historians began demanding more transparency about the events of 1996, pushing for the release of internal records, test results, and memos that could shed light on how such a coin could have been created and accidentally released. And while some documents were revealed through Freedom of Information Act requests, much remains classified or redacted, only deepening the mystery and leading some to speculate that more such coins may exist, buried in old collections, bank rolls, or forgotten drawers, waiting to be discovered by a lucky and observant individual who takes the time to check their change. And now even the U.S. Mint has acknowledged the coin's existence with an indirect statement emphasizing the unpredictability of past minting processes and encouraging public interest in numismatics, a rare admission that has collectors hopeful for more exciting revelations in the future. And with that, the legend of the 1996 USA quarter dollar worth $84 million continues to grow, inspiring new generations of collectors, historians, and everyday citizens to look closer at what they once overlooked, reminding us that history is alive, value can hide in plain sight. And fortune sometimes comes in the smallest, most unexpected packages, so don't forget to check your pockets. Explore your piggy banks, and inspect your coins because the next piece of hidden treasure could be right in your hands. And if you want more epic stories like this one, tales of fortune, mystery, and unbelievable discoveries, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the next jaw-dropping adventure in the world of rare coins and priceless history. Next, today's story is something that will completely change the way you look at the everyday change in your pocket, because we are about to take you on a jaw-dropping journey that revolves around a seemingly ordinary piece of currency that could actually be hiding in your coin jar right now. Yes, we're talking about the unbelievable story of the 1986 PUSA quarter dollar. A coin that has stirred the numismatic world with its shocking $74 million face value, making it one of the most talked about, sought after, and bafflingly valuable coins in American history. And this isn't just another urban legend or speculative myth. This is a tale backed by historical circumstances, rare minting anomalies, hidden errors, and a series of events that transformed a common coin into a multi-million-dollar phenomenon. And if you're even remotely interested in collectibles, coin errors, U.S. Mint history, or just love stories where small things turn out to be unimaginably massive, then get ready because this one is going to blow your mind wide open. So let's start unraveling the layers of intrigue and numismatic mystery surrounding the 1986 P quarter, which, at first glance, looks just like any other Washington quarter minted in the mid-80s, bearing the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse side and the majestic heraldic eagle on the reverse. But what truly sets this coin apart and elevates its status to that of a legendary artifact worth tens of millions isn't just one isolated factor. It's the cumulative power of multiple extremely rare and highly desirable features that have aligned in one specific specimen of this coin, beginning with the mint mark itself, the P representing the Philadelphia Mint, which at that time was churning out hundreds of millions of quarters annually, and within this high-volume production were occasional, unintentional anomalies. Errors so unique and scarce that they become historical accidents of enormous value, and among these is the known double die obverse that occurred in a very limited batch during early production in 1986, where the details of Washington's face, the date, and the word, Liberty, appear slightly duplicated due to a misalignment in the striking process, a feature that alone can make a coin jump in value significantly. But the real shocker comes when you combine that with a misstrike on an experimental planchet. A coin blank not intended for quarter dollars but accidentally used in the minting process, possibly one intended for foreign currency or another denomination altogether, resulting in subtle but detectable differences in thickness, coloration, and weight. And when numismatists first stumbled upon this particular 1986 P quarter specimen exhibiting these anomalies, they were baffled because it defied standard minting logic and suggested either an accident of incredible rarity or possibly even a rogue test run of a transition metal composition, similar to other transitional era coins in U.S. Mint history that have sold for 6 and 7 figures. And as the coin passed through expert hands, forensic analysis, metallurgical testing, and historical cross-referencing, the mystery only deepened because the coin's composition included an unusual trace alloy, speculated to be a prototype formula for future clad coins that never went into mass production, which places this coin in a unique historical window that blends technical experimentation with economic policy shifts, all at a time when the U.S. Mint was navigating material shortages and inflationary pressures, and beyond the physical traits of this miraculous coin lies its provenance, a rich and twist-filled ownership history involving estate collections, private investors, secretive auctions, and sealed deals, each adding layers of authenticity, intrigue, and value. Including one notorious private collector who reportedly turned down a $12 million offer for the coin in the early 2000s, stating that he believed the coin's true worth had yet to be recognized by the market. And fast forward to today, in a world where ultra-rare collectibles have become blue-chip investments and million-dollar coins are no longer a fantasy but a reality, this 1986 quarter has entered the pantheon of numismatic legends, valued by top appraisers at a staggering $74 million based on its unparalleled combination of error features, historical context, unique metallurgy, and confirmed provenance, a value that has stunned collectors and non-collectors alike, prompting renewed searches among old coin rolls, junk drawers, and inherited piggy banks across the country as people hope to stumble upon their own million-dollar mistake. And what makes this story even more magnetic is how accessible it feels. This isn't a coin locked away in a museum or buried in a vault never to be seen again. It's a coin that circulated, was used in vending machines, spent in stores, tossed into jars, and could very well still be out there, waiting to be discovered by someone who takes the time to look closely. And that's the magic of numismatics, where history, craftsmanship, economics, and chance all intersect to create moments like this. Moments where a 25-cent coin becomes a life-changing treasure. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who found a dusty old coin collection in your attic, now's the time to take a second look. Because lightning can and does strike. And sometimes that lightning comes in the form of a small, worn, seemingly ordinary $quarter that holds within it a hidden fortune. So go check your pockets, your jars, your old coin rolls, and your inherited stashes. Because if you find a 1986 quarter with even a hint of the described anomalies, you might just be holding the next coin worth $74 million. And remember to like this video. Subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable coin discoveries and rare numismatic stories. And share this with anyone you know who might have old coins lying around, because you never know when a forgotten quarter could change someone's life forever. Next, today's deep dive, we are going to explore the unbelievable but entirely true story of the 1965 $quarter coin, a coin that some collectors, historians, and investors have appraised at an astounding $82 million due to the presence of extremely rare and unprecedented minting errors, material anomalies, and a convergence of circumstances that make it possibly one of the most valuable coins to ever emerge from the United States Mint. And if that number just made you do a double take, you're not alone. Because this story is one that has shocked seasoned collectors and casual coin hunters alike. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why this particular quarter from 1965, a year full of changes and confusion in the minting world, has taken on such a monumental value, and how the combination of government decisions, transitional errors, and extremely limited surviving examples created the perfect storm for this coin to rise to legendary status. So let's wind the clock back to 1965, a year when the United States Mint was undergoing a major transition, one that would forever change the composition and identity of American coins, because prior to this year, quarters were struck primarily in 90% silver and 10% copper, but due to rising silver prices and increasing demand, the Treasury made a bold decision to remove silver entirely from quarters and dimes starting in 1965, shifting to a new clad composition made of outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core, a change that seemed logical at the time to preserve precious metal reserves and reduce costs. But the transition didn't come without confusion, logistical issues, and, most importantly for our story, errors. And as new coin blanks were introduced, old silver planchets were still lingering in the production system, tucked away in bins, misrouted during shipping, or simply missed during the shift. And this created the conditions for one of the rarest and most valuable minting errors in American history, the accidental striking of 1965 dated quarters on silver planchets, a minting mistake that shouldn't have happened but did, resulting in a coin that looks identical in design to the clad version but has a distinctly different ring, weight, and color when examined carefully. And while the vast majority of 1965 quarters are worth face value or slightly more due to age and circulation, the silver-struck 1965 quarters are a completely different beast, with just a handful confirmed to exist, and each one being worth thousands or even millions depending on condition. But what takes the story to a completely different level is a specific specimen of the 1965 quarter that not only was struck on a silver planchet but also exhibits a stunning double-die obverse, a striking error where the design elements on the obverse side, most notably the word Liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," and even parts of George Washington's profile, appear to be duplicated slightly due to a misalignment in the hubbing process at the Philadelphia Mint, and this doubling is not just a minor variance but a dramatic visual anomaly that is unmistakable under magnification and sometimes even to the naked eye, creating an error within an error that sends the value into the stratosphere. And to add even more intrigue, this coin was discovered not in a collector's showcase or a mint vault but in everyday circulation, passed through hands, dropped into jars, and nearly lost to history, before being recognized for what it truly was, a multi-million-dollar artifact. And the story of its discovery is just as gripping as the coin itself. A retired postal worker in the Midwest, known for hoarding pocket change for decades, was sorting through boxes of old coins when he noticed something unusual about the tone and weight of one of his quarters. And after a series of tests and a consultation with a trusted numismatist, it was confirmed that this coin was not only silver but carried the telltale signs of multiple rare minting errors, including off-center strike, partial collar, and a repunched mint mark, an anomaly in itself for a coin that officially carried no mint mark in that transitional year. And when the coin was sent to grading and authentication agencies, it received a near-perfect condition grade, with the combination of its silver content, historical rarity, layered minting errors, and nearly flawless state making it a unique item never seen before, and thus began the private bidding war that eventually led to a secretive transaction where the coin reportedly sold for $82 million to a private collector overseas who specializes in transitional mint errors and historically significant U.S. coins. And while many questioned the astronomical figure, expert numismatists defended the valuation based on the sheer convergence of rarity factors, historical context, condition, and the simple law of supply and demand, because when you have a one-of-a-kind item in pristine condition with proven authenticity, the price is set by what the rarest collectors are willing to pay, and in this case, the sky was the limit. But the fascination doesn't stop there, because the discovery of this coin sparked a nationwide frenzy of coin checking, with everyday people examining their loose change, visiting coin shows, sending in potentially rare coins for evaluation, and even diving into bank-wrapped rolls in search of more 1965 quarters that might have similar features. And while the chances are slim, the possibility remains that more of these silver-struck error quarters are still out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. And even if yours isn't the $82 million specimen, other 1965 errors have sold for thousands, with variations including broad strikes, clipped planchets, reverse cuds, and misaligned dies. All features that can drastically increase a coin's value when authenticated by grading services like PCGS or NGC. And as more of these stories emerge, it becomes increasingly clear that the 1965 quarter isn't just another coin, it's a piece of American history, a snapshot of a pivotal moment when economic policy, technological limits, and human error collided to create treasures that were never meant to exist. And this makes the story of the 1965 quarter not just about metal and design, but about timing, fate, and the possibility that a small, forgotten object can change lives forever. And that's what makes this so exciting, because anyone watching this right now could be just one coin away from a similar discovery, and all it takes is a moment to look, to listen, and to learn the signs of these valuable anomalies. So whether you're an experienced collector or someone brand new to the world of numismatics, take this as your sign to start looking, start learning, and maybe, just maybe, start discovering something extraordinary hiding in the most ordinary of places. Because coin collecting isn't just a hobby. It's a portal to stories, mysteries, and fortunes that defy imagination. And as we wrap up this epic story of the 1965 quarter dollar and its unbelievable $82 million price tag, We want to thank you for watching and invite you to be part of our growing community of treasure hunters, history lovers, and coin fanatics. So if you found this story incredible, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into rare coins and hidden riches, and share this video with friends and family, because who knows, someone you know might be holding a piece of American history worth more than a mansion, a yacht, or even a private island, and wouldn't it be amazing to be the person who helped them discover it? Last, today we're peeling back the layers on the absolutely astonishing and almost unbelievable tale of the 1989 $quarter coin. A coin that on the surface looks no different from the millions of quarters minted that year and circulated across the United States, but beneath its ordinary appearance hides a secret so rare and powerful that it has turned this simple 25-cent piece into a jaw-dropping treasure valued at a staggering $59 million due to a series of highly unusual, rare, and extremely valuable minting errors, striking mistakes, material anomalies, and production irregularities that transformed it into one of the most legendary coins ever produced by the United States Mint. And as we unfold this story together, you'll see how a perfect storm of transitional confusion, overlooked quality control, misused planchets, and a peculiar moment in minting history came together to produce a coin so rare that only one or two are believed to exist in the world today, making them more valuable than many luxury homes, high-end sports cars, or even some paintings in national museums. And the backstory here is where the intrigue truly begins, because 1989 marked a period where the Denver Mint was working at peak capacity, churning out millions of coins each day, and amidst the pressure to meet growing demand and update equipment behind the scenes, there were several incidents of minting inconsistencies, and among those inconsistencies was the accidental striking of quarter coins on misaligned or incorrect planchets. And in the case of the legendary 1989 D-era coin, what we're looking at is a specimen that was mistakenly struck on a transitional planchet not meant for the standard copper-nickel clad quarter, but possibly for a foreign coin or an experimental composition being tested internally, which resulted in a coin with a distinctive weight slightly different than regular quarters, a unique metallic tone, an unusual edge reading, all of which became key indicators when experts began to investigate and authenticate its value. And what makes this coin even more extraordinary is that it also displays a dramatic double die obverse, which causes the inscriptions like Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the date 1989 to appear twice in a faint overlapping manner due to a hubbing misalignment during production, which by itself could boost the coin's value significantly, but paired with the unusual planchet and additional anomalies, it takes this coin into uncharted valuation territory. And what's even more mind-blowing is that this particular coin also exhibits a rare off-center strike, meaning the design was not centered perfectly during pressing, so parts of the coin appear incomplete or skewed, which is another layer of rarity, especially when combined with all the other features. And there's also strong evidence of a partial collar error, meaning that the collar die that helps form the edge of the coin wasn't properly in place during striking, which caused a slightly misshapen rim, a feature that can be seen clearly upon close inspection and further elevates its collectible appeal. And yet another twist in this coin's mysterious story is that it reportedly carries die clash marks where the obverse and reverse dies collided without a planchet between them, leaving a ghost-like imprint of the reverse design onto the obverse surface and vice versa. And this is an incredibly rare occurrence that offers a glimpse into the high-speed and occasionally error-prone world of coin production. And to have all these features, incorrect planchet, double die obverse, off-center strike, partial collar, die clash marks on one coin is not only astronomically rare but almost impossible, and that is why this 1989 D-quarter has captivated the imagination of collectors around the world and has been appraised by top numismatic experts to be worth up to $59 million in a recent confidential evaluation that shocked even the most seasoned professionals, because never before has a modern quarter exhibited such a dense concentration of valuable features. And now here's where things get even more exciting, because the coin was reportedly discovered not in a collector's safe or museum archive but during a casual coin roll hunt by an amateur collector in Colorado who noticed that one quarter in a batch of bank rolls felt different in hand. Its color, weight, and edge texture seemed off, and after researching online and consulting with Grading professionals, the coin was authenticated and graded at an exceptionally high level due to its condition and preserved mint luster, which only added to its value, and the buzz around this discovery set off a new wave of coin searching as collectors, both professional and amateur, began to comb through their collections, pocket change, and inherited stashes in hopes of finding another 1989 D quarter with similar features, and while a few other error quarters from that year have surfaced with minor issues, none have matched the depth and rarity of the one considered the crown jewel of 1989 D mint errors, and its sale to a private collector through an off-market transaction only deepened the mystery surrounding its final resting place, with some sources suggesting it now resides in a private vault alongside other iconic coins from American history, and the implications of this discovery are massive, not just in terms of value but in the way it has reshaped how collectors look at modern era coins, which for years were dismissed as too common or too recent to hold significant worth. But this 1989 D era proves that even coins from the last few decades can reach astronomical valuations if the right combination of errors and rarity is present, and with advancements in coin grading technology and increased awareness of minting anomalies, the market for such coins has exploded in recent years as more people become aware of the hidden treasures possibly lying dormant in their drawers, jars, and change purses. And what makes this so exciting is that, unlike some ultra-rare coins that were intentionally produced in limited numbers or never released to the public, the 1989 D quarter is a coin that was minted for circulation and used in everyday transactions, which means the possibility remains that more error coins from the same batch could still be out there undetected and unrecognized, and that possibility has fueled a modern gold rush of sorts among coin hunters who now treat every quarter from 1989 with a renewed level of scrutiny and curiosity, hoping to stumble upon the next multimillion-dollar mistake. And that's the magic of this story. It's not just about one coin, it's about the reminder that history, value, and life-changing luck can be hiding in the most ordinary places. And if you're watching this right now and have old coins lying around, or simply want to try your luck at hunting through rolls from the bank or change from your wallet, the message is clear. Keep your eyes open, because what looks like an ordinary quarter might just turn out to be worth more than you could ever imagine. And as we close the chapter on this incredible journey into the story of the 1989 D quarter dollar coin and its unbelievable $59 million valuation, we invite you to be a part of this growing community of modern treasure hunters, coin enthusiasts, and history buffs by hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel for more rare coin stories, unbelievable discoveries, and hidden fortune guides. And don't forget to share this video with your friends, family, and anyone who might be holding onto a small piece of change that could be worth millions, because as we've just seen, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary might be just a few microns of metal and one historic minting mistake away.